It's time for another edition of Behind the Breeding Barn with Cobbitty Equine Farm. And this time, as we continue our focus on the upcoming yearling sales, it's great to catch up with Jackie Gibson of Success Stud. So much to talk about, Jackie, but again, appreciate your time in such a busy time of year.
Thank you, Britt. Lovely to see you again too. Yeah, busy time for us. We've just come out of stud season and straight into yearling time. So we've had a change, but it's great.
How was stud season for you? I'm sure it probably felt pretty long. They tend to, but in terms of, I guess, an overall feel, how was it for you and the team?
For us, it was really good. We foaled down 47 foals. That was great. Super job done by my team and Robin McCarthy, who's our foaling lady. She starts midway through September and is here right till the very end. So she does a terrific job for us. Yeah, really proud of the work that she's done, and lovely to see those foals coming through. And of the first season mares, that's always exciting to see what you're going to get. And then some old favourites that foal, and they're always so lovely to deal with. And I think you would know too, Brittany, you could foal down, thousands, which a lot of stud people have done, but that first nicker that, the foal gives to the mare and the mare back, there's nothing like that. It's just a beautiful thing, really lovely. And, you can be dead dog tired, but you hear that and you think, oh yeah, no, this is why I do it.
Absolutely. Very special indeed. So in terms of Success Stud, what is your, I guess, current business model? Because we know Success Stud has been just that for a very long time. It's taken a few different, I guess, routes along the way. But what is your current game plan? And in terms of the current mares for Success Stud personally, it's quite incredible. So that's clearly something you've worked on.
It has been, Brittany. Yeah, that's right. Many years ago, we were standing stallions in Queensland and then down here, and we just took a change of route there. Not so much buying our own stallions in from the States because they got so expensive, and we then decided we'd channel that money set aside for stallion purchases into improving our broodmare line, and that's what we've done. And we started off with a 5-year plan. Oh, I don't know, 10 years ago, but we're finally getting there now. And it's I don't want to have the biggest number of mares anymore on farm. I just want to have like the smaller number of client mares that we have coming in, and some of those have been with us for 20 years, which is really lovely. But just on our own group of mares, we're sitting at about, I think we've got 12 mares that we're breeding from now. And they're mares that we may have raced, particularly through that Jasmarilla Grace Robinson line. And then I've been able to purchase in some other younger mares as well, and just, see what they do. But we'll probably do a bit of turnover with those younger mares, 2 or 3 foals, and then sell and then get something else in. But just keeping our numbers just really up there with the quality now.
In terms of mares, and I think I had a conversation with you last year around you've got a bit of a checklist and something that you want, I guess, targets that you want your mares to hit. So for those who are watching at home, what are they?
For us, it used to always be under 55 or better. Now with Menangle and the speed and the change of the horse breeding, we're now sort of looking at the 53 mares. And I really like a mare, 100,000 in earnings, plus on that. I will tweak that slightly, that's the hard and fast that I have, but then I will waver if there's something there that you knew the background of a mare and she just didn't hit the money that you thought that she would have. But if she's got that really strong pedigree behind, well, I'll waver off there slightly. But I try to sort of keep that as my game plan.
In terms of choosing stallions, and this is something that's exciting, but also can be challenging because you are trying to, as a commercial breeder, look into the future and try to understand and predict what people are going to be interested in. And that can change rapidly from year to year. But what's your position on tried and true v first season size? I guess in the last few years, you've had some great results at the sales with horses like Captain Crunch. So you've clearly got a mix.
Yes, yeah, we do. We've got to be commercial. So, and as you just said, about your prediction, and really we're predicting 3 years ahead. by the time we get the mare in foal it down, get it to the yearling sale. So, it's like fashion, Brittany. Things can change dramatically, skinny jeans out and the wide leg pants. So we're just, but then you have to follow a couple of basics, which for us is your proven horses, like your Sweet Lou's, the Better's Delight, the Art Majors, the old guys that have been there for a long time. And then, but you've also got to look at the new blood that's coming through, like your Cannibal Confederate horses, and then the Huntsville, which is not exactly new, but he's around there, fourth season, I think, for him. So for me, I'll look, and depending what the mare is as well, if your mare has been a strong producing mare, well, then I might go to a new season stallion on that, because she's already got the runs on the board. It just and depends on what bloodline works. If she's a big mare, well, then I won't probably breed to a really big stallion that will throw big horses, because you'll end up with a giant or something like that. So there's a lot of thought that goes through it as well. And of course, you get the wish list, and I start off with 3 Captain Treacherous is written down or something like that, and then it's like, okay, right, well, budget, we just need to reassess that. So you can have a bit of a plan, but then just be a little bit flexible as well.
In regards to when you go to the sales, there are things that I guess you can control and things that you can't. And you control the breeding and the mating and hope that when the resultant foal arrives, it's conformationally perfect and what you want to see. But another thing that you can control, I guess, is what they're eligible for. And when you go to the sales, you're not only selling the product, but I guess you're selling the dream to some respect as well of what you can win. So how important is that to you, I guess, eligibilities? And now with a race like the Cobbitty Equine Classic coming into contention, does that trigger something in you as well when you're making these breeding decisions?
Yes, absolutely. And I think being a parochial New South Wales supporter of breeding, we're very fortunate in this state that we have, the likes of the Breeders' Challenge and the Breeders' Blue. But then with what Cobbitty has brought on board with the Cobbitty Classic, how fantastic is that? So definitely it will sway my thoughts. And I think the way that it is now, with the stock going through, it's opening it up for, maybe if you've got a mare that's a little bit lighter, on your pedigree page, but if somebody looks at that and then they see that they're eligible for these extra races and the Cobbitty, that just adds more to it. So definitely, Brittany, that does come into play for sure. And I've had a number of people breeding that bring their mares to us each year, and that has been a major thing for where they've been looking to send their mares as well to those stallions that have that extra eligibility. And it's only available for those Cobbitty stallions, that progeny, whether it be the frozen or the fresh semen there. So it's terrific.
It certainly isn't for next year. For example, for this year's yearlings, the first year of the Cobbitty Equine Classic is going to be around the Breeders' Challenge and the Breeders' Blue. So there is significant opportunity to gain a lot of financial benefit in a short amount of time, which is great to see the potential for some return on your investment. I'm always intrigued on, and everyone's very different, on what your prep entails when heading towards a yearling sale. And we know what a homebred horse has a different path to getting to the races than a yearling sales horse. But what do you really believe in to not only prepare them to be visually impressive, but I guess to set them up going forward as well?
Yeah, I think as far as the homebreds and the ones that are going through to the sales, they're all we rear them all exactly the same. So they're still, and we're known to be big feeders of grain, and that's we're out there feeding mares and foals now. So the foals are all learning to eat the grain and the oats while they're on their mothers, so they get that start all the way through. The sale yearlings and some of the homebreeders, they'll come through the stables through the winter. And that's just for handling purposes, because they're big and strong, and you don't want something that's been untouched for 6 months, suddenly hitting the stables. It's a little bit daunting, shall we say. So they will come in and out, and then when the sale yearlings come in, we divide them down into the smaller groups, and the colts will start to play rough, in September. So we divide those down, and they'll be in single paddocks all for themselves, and that just stops, like the the scratches and the bite marks and that sort of thing. And you can't, you know, they are animals and they are herd animals, so you've got to let them still be horses. So, you know, we try to control that to a certain degree. Our prep is about 39 days long, which is just a little bit over 5 weeks. And we can get away with that fairly well because we've done that work in the winter with them. And we bring them in, they're drenched, you know, quite regularly. So they do have hands-on. And Todd Day, who is with us now, he's a great horseman. He can go out and catch most of them out in the paddock. So it's a great start for us.
Absolutely. In regards to this year, what are you taking to the sales? What are your plans? And I guess what are your expectations? Do you head into sales season with a little bit of trepidation sometimes, or what's your feelings?
It's exciting. Love going to the sales. I love the atmosphere. And you mentioned before, you know, it's a dream. People are there to buy their dream, and I'm very proud of the draft. So I really like it when people come through and, you know, they're looking at your stock, and, you know, if they look great and they handle well, their manners are good. You know, it's a real buzz, and, you know, it's something we're very proud of the team that we're taking down this year. And it is a smaller draft for us. There's only 10 in the team, and quite a number of those will have the JG brand on their shoulder, which is exciting. And there's 4 first season mares, like, so for their first foals coming through this year, and that's super as well, because, you know, that's starting that brood race mare, now brood mare on her new career. And one of the, or a couple of them that are out there is not to be denied. She's got a Captain Crunch going, Gerarda's Delight, which you would know from the Queensland connection there. I think she was race mare of the year up there, or could have even been horse of the year. So she's got her first foal coming through, which is a Captain Treacherous colt, and we call him stable name the Butler after Jack Butler. So hopefully that'll give Jack a little bit of a pep in his step. And we've got another one there, which is a King of Swing out of a mare called Roll Along Jane, which a lot of people in the Riverina will know her.
Just on that King of Swing, of course, we're pretty interested in what's going to transpire there. His first yearlings going through this year. But what's your impression of that yearling?
He's a lovely horse. He's a compact horse, which the King of Swing is a very big, very you know, impressive looking stallion and an individual, and so is this colt. He's not as big. The mare herself that was bred there is a little bit smaller, but to me, the King of Swing that we have is a definite 2-year-old prospect about him. He's very correct. He's got a very intelligent head, lovely broad forehead, which I like to see, and a big eye, a big kind eye. And he's taken to prep very, very well. He's very workmanlike, up to the walker, does his work, and the best thing is just straight back to the feed bin, which is so important. You know, that the stress and the changes haven't affected him at all.
Well, that's really exciting. And the great thing about King of Swing was that, yes, he was a champion older horse, but he won a Breeders' Crown at 2. Yes. So he really was the full package right throughout. In regards to, let's look into the future a little further now. Later on this year in 2025, you'll have more foals hitting the ground. Yes. What kind of decisions did you make on breedings for your current group of mares, and were the Cobbitty stallions of interest to you this year?
Yes, they certainly were. The Hunts, I'm very, very much a fan of Huntsville. I really like him. I like the stock that I've seen, you know, from previous seasons, and to work with him, he's available via Frozen Semen, and very, very fertile stallion, which for we as technicians, that's what you like to know, that, you know, nobody's ever guaranteed of a pregnancy, but, you know, when you're working with Huntsville, the odds are in your favour, really. Yeah, definitely. And, you know, back to the Cobbitty, to the classic race there, that certainly did sway us, you know, like, as much as I like the Huntsville horse, to have that race series on him, that certainly did sway me that way. We bred a couple to King of Swing. Breeding in the 3rd year, yes, it is a gamble, but looking at the stock that are on the ground by him, you've got to be very confident. I'm sure that Belinda and Luke and the stallion owners themselves have got to have a degree of confidence there.
I was speaking to Megs the other day actually, and he's just served another full book, which is
Yeah.
hard to do for any stallion, let alone a colonial stallion who we know the support is sometimes a little tricky to come by. But that's just a real push for what people are seeing. Lots of return customers, and also for the sort of horse that he was on the racetrack, an absolute
Oh,
star.
absolutely, Brittany. And when you look at, he's done everything under Australian racing conditions. And that's what we need to breed for. He's got the beautiful pedigree behind, matches it with a lot of the American imports that are coming in. There's a lot to like about that stallion for sure.
There certainly is. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the market thinks of the King of Swings,
Yes,
because all of them that I've seen have been really impeccable types. And we know page is one thing, but type can really sway people no matter what the page says. So that's going to be great. We've covered
yes.
lots of territory, Jackie, and I'm sure that we could sit here and chat all day, but I need to let you get back to work because it is a really busy time of year. We do appreciate your time, and the very best of luck for the upcoming yearling sales here in Sydney.
Thank you so much, Brittany. Look forward to seeing you and the Graham family down there too for the weekend. And it'll be great to catch up with you before you head off abroad.